All right. Greetings and peace, everyone. All right. My name is Neo, and I'm here to share some info with the people. This is some info that I've been wanting to speak to you all and to people in general for a very, very long time, because a lot of people don't know what the fuck is going on. And this information is coming from years of me studying, observing, and investigating relationships in general. That includes friendships, parent-child relationships, committed romantic relationships, whatever you want to call those, business relationships, and relationships in general. And I have been doing a lot of studying of this, and I have been putting in my own personal development work, lots of meditation, lots of speaking with the spiritual side of myself, and me reflecting on my overall being and my overall behavior, and resolving my unresolved childhood issues that I had previously, and still focusing on identifying any other unresolved issues within myself that I can resolve. One thing I've learned throughout my years of investigating relationships and couples and people in general, and doing my own case studies, is that I've learned that in speaking with people, I've learned that a lot of people, they know that they have unresolved issues regardless of where they came from. However, very few of them, the people, actually focus on resolving those issues. So what they would do is they would say that they have an issue. Oh, I have an issue, or I have issues, and then they say that, and then they just go on with their everyday life, and then they find ways to so-called deal with them, but they're just short-term, under the rug solutions. They're not any major solutions where that gets to the root of the problem and pulls it up and replaces it with something that is productive, that works for them rather than against them. And when I talk about unresolved issues, these unresolved issues, if they are left unresolved, they are errors inside a person's mind that sabotages their relationships. And then when those things those issues sabotages relationships, those issues actually causes people to have a certain behavior that sabotages their relationships. And then when they do, there's issues within the relationships, then those people who are bringing the most issues within the relationships, they want to blame other people. They point the finger. They consistently point the finger. And just like I said in my maturity video, that a lot of people have a self-denial block that prevents them from looking at themselves, doing a self-reflection, self-analysis, and then self-development. And then those people keep pointing at other people. And I mentioned that about my mother. My mother is one major one in my life that's like that. And I identified that people have this self-denial block. I identified it first in my mother, then in a lot of people of my family, and recently also earlier today's New Year's Day, January 1st, and I just got out of a situation earlier, a few hours ago, with a family member, and I'm like, this is another one that has unresolved childhood issues with her father, starting with her father, and that later on in her life sabotages her relationships with men in particular. And then her relationship with her mother, her terrible relationship with her mother, causes her to have issues with females. So anyways, this video right here is I'm going to discuss social behavior. I have done lots of social behavior development training of myself within my personal development work. Social behavior is your own behavior, how you behave, how you speak and treat people within social engagements with one or more individuals, regardless of their age, size, weight, race, or whatever. That is your social behavior. Social behavior is a direct result of a person's psychological development level, the quality of their mental refinement. Very few individuals here in America, based on my own case studies with real life people, starting with my family members, my major ones, immediate ones, and a little bit further, and also speaking with other individuals that I was co-workers with, who were my managers, who used to be in my congregation when I was in the Jehovah's Witness religion, and a variety of other people. Me really speaking with these individuals. Very few people actually focus on their psychological development refinement levels to increase themselves to a high level, to evolve themselves to a high level. So very few people have really refined social skills, that allows them to have pristine or at least adequate or higher levels of social behavior, to where when they're in engagements, they really know what they're doing, and they can literally be placed in any situation, social engagement situation, and they fit in like a puzzle. And once you get on a high psychological level where you're able to control your mind, you would know the importance of altering yourself, altering your mind and your behaviors based on the situation. Because what I've learned throughout my own psychological training and observing people, I've learned that you can't always be yourself fully all of the time, especially when you're meeting new people and you don't know how they behave and how they will react to your own personality, and you don't know what their psychological level is. So you really have to be neutral. You have to start off being sort of vanilla, but showing that you do have some personality and you're not just this vanilla individual all the time. But you have to keep things as balanced as possible until you have identified, you have done your recon, so that you can create your own psychological scouting report of the individual or individuals. Because that's what I do whenever I meet a new person. I've learned that I have to first be as neutral as possible, but still keep my personality and show that I have flavor in my personality. But just focus on getting the information, doing my recon on the individual, so that I know my limits. I know my limits. And with me having my maturity foundation, as I speak about in my previous maturity video, you have to have that maturity as a foundation within your mind, and then you'll be able to perceive the correct things to do, and you'll be able to create your own boundaries. One major thing that I have learned throughout my investigation of relationships is that a lot of people, due to them lacking social behavior training from anybody within their life, especially their parents, because it is a parent's job to provide psychological and social behavior training to their children. However, due to most parents not going through their own social behavior training, is very difficult for them to even remember and even pass on social training and information to their children regarding social behavior. So you got a lot of these people, regardless of age, race, and whatever, running around stepping on people's toes, so to speak, within social engagements, because they don't know their boundaries and they don't know how to control their minds. And then their social behavior is all over the fucking place, literally. And y'all, I'm telling you, once I developed myself to a high level, I did my personal development work, and I know how to control my mind and filter out all of the garbage that might come through my mind, which a lot of that garbage is off of other people's reflections and their energies. Because remember, I'm an empath, like I said, an empath, and I'm not going to tell you anything else that I could do, but because it scares people when you say certain things, when you have certain abilities. But an empath, maybe I'll go into another video about that. But an empath is, well, being empathic is a sense, an extra sensory sense that you sense other people's energies and their feelings, so you literally know how they feel, because that energy comes over you and you feel exactly how they feel. It's a mirror of how they feel, and you have to learn how to control that. And I'm much better at this. You have to learn how to control that and remember that it's not you. So that's why you have to consistently be conscious of your own energy, your own mindset within that situation, so that you know whenever a change occurs that that's more than likely not you, it's them. That's how they are feeling. So I'll go into another whatchamacallit. But once I observed this and I got to a higher level, I realized, like, whoa, people really don't know what is going on with themselves, and they don't know how to control their mind, so they don't know how to behave within social engagements. And when I'm talking about behavior, this is really, really precise, minute things within social engagements. When you get to a high level, you'll notice all of the small little things that you just do, even the little things that you do and don't do. So you can only imagine the stuff that's going through my mind. It's like I'm highly analytical and I'm highly intuitive. So I know how to do certain things that most people don't know how to do within social engagements. And that's why anybody can talk to me and speak with me, and I can get along with everybody. But it's up to them to be able to control their fucking selves. And if people have not heard from me in a long time and we stop talking, it's usually because of them. Because they don't have their shit together and they don't know how to go back and forth with the feedback, because they don't know how to control their fucking ego and identify their fucking ego and how to bypass it and to stop being so fucking sensitive. And see, that's where that psychological development training comes in. So it allows you to be more strong psychologically and resilient. So it's like, even if it's something small that you thought that somebody said that disrespected you, which they may not have done that intentionally, but because you have not developed yourself psychologically, you might have took that wrong, and then you just get angry at the person. Or some people, they go into seclusion or whatever, and it's really ridiculous, the things that people go through. And a lot of people don't realize how immature they are and how low they are psychologically, and undeveloped, untrained they are, because they have not been shown. They don't have a reference point. That's what it is. A lot of people, they don't have a reference point of what a high quality social behavior level is. So let me see if I can give you all some examples. When you are in a social engagement with an individual, the first thing you have to do is have a high level or an adequate or higher level of listening or communication skills. That is highly important. You have to get your communication skills correctly. You have to have the right words to articulate your feelings, and you have to identify what your feelings are and what it is that you want to convey, regardless of what it is. And also you have to identify if it's necessary within that given situation to articulate what you want to articulate. See, this is when you get on a high psychological communicational level and psychological level, this stuff, it's advanced. I'm telling you, it's advanced. Let me see if I keep it on a basic level for right now. So once you do that, the other thing is, as far as listening also involves your mind. And I didn't realize this until I started to program my mind to have great communication skills. Remember, I tell you, you can be able to program your mind. Your mind is literally a computer system. It's a computer system that is connected to your spiritual self, and it also has connection to your brain. Let me fix this. It has a connection to your brain, which in turn you can control various parts of your body due to your psychological programming. It's deep. You can program your DNA also, and you can change your whole molecular structure, your whole physical structure with your mind. Oh man, I'm telling you, I've learned a lot about what this mind can do, and I'm saying to myself, like, yo, people have only been experiencing so little of what they could do with their mind. And earlier Saturday, I'm sitting here studying different parts of my mind, the mind of what you can do, and these so-called superpowers, but they're just natural abilities. And even controlling my auric field, learning how to control my auric field, and people don't know what their auric field is. I'm like, yo, it's a lot. When I say personal development, it is just more than just being a better everyday human. It's like, it depends on how far you want to go with personal development. I'm focused on being on a high evolutionary level, because it's like I'm way above average in a lot of stuff. So for me, I sometimes have to remember when I'm around the average person that there's not a lot of people on an advanced level with certain things. So I have to literally slow myself down and come down back to their level, because sometimes I can speak extremely fast, and that's because my brain operates on a higher frequency now. And yo, literally I think it was a few days ago or last week, I realized that my brain literally is operating on a faster frequency now. So it's like, when I was speaking to somebody, I was speaking extremely fast, and I'm able to comprehend so many things extremely fast. And I'm trying to explain something to this individual last week, I believe, and I realized that they are a lot slower. Their brain operates a lot slower than mine. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta slow my ass down. Because like I said, I operate on a high energy level too. I get that high, I got something in my eye, y'all. High energy level, because I get that great deep regenerative sleep. I drink a lot of water. A lot of water, cleansing out my body, and the body needs a high volume of water. I exercise, and that deep sleep, and I might do another video too, explaining how that deep regenerative sleep that I talked about in one of my older videos, that deep regenerative sleep, it cleanses your auric field. When you have a cleansed auric field, you operate on a high frequency level, and your energy is just like so high. And when my energy is so high, I'm always looking for something to do and how to utilize, and finding something to utilize it. So I utilize it to clean, I go exercise. I go and exercise, and that gets me even more higher on a high level. The serotonin goes through, and man, I feel so good when I do that. I used to do it for when I'm writing a song, because that's when all of the energy that's in my brain, allowing me to operate on a fast level, so rhymes just come easy to me back then when I was focused on it. I use it to do a lot of stuff, but anyways, I went off of it because I just wanted to give y'all examples of when you get on a high level, your brain operates faster. Just like that movie Limitless, just about everything in that movie Limitless is possible. I've experienced a lot of that shit without the unnatural stuff. It's just, people just need to learn how their fucking body works, how the brain works, and how their mind works. And I'm gonna do another video about subliminal messages and what happens, because the TV video the TV programs that people watch, that programs their mind and keeps them on a low psychological level. But that Limitless, the movie Limitless, go see the movie Limitless if you have not seen it yet. Your intelligence can increase. You just do a lot of basic stuff, like doing what I just said. A lot of water, exercise, deep sleeping. That's the minimum. And keeping stress out of your life, because that stress lowers your energy and it lowers your psychological, emotional, and physical level. Keeps you on a low level, and your creativity goes down and a lot goes down. So you won't be able to experience not even half of that shit. But as far as operating on a high brain level, my brain is working even faster. And sometimes I gotta just remind myself when I'm around the average person, like, oh, slow down, slow down, slow down. They can't keep up. So I'll be like, and I could just multitask so much. Anyways, so back to what I was saying about the social behavior. So overall, it's just that they don't know what they're doing. They really don't. And it's sad sometimes. It's really sad, because I could be in a conversation with a person, and this happened with a lot a lot of people in my family. But I'll talk about in people in general, and especially those people who watch a lot of TV, because that TV, it scrambles a person's brain waves, especially those frequencies coming from the cable and the satellite and all of those wires. It scrambles their brain waves. And when your brain waves is scrambled, you really can't focus on what you're trying to say and listen to a person. You can't listen to a person. And let me go back to listening skills. So let me finish this first. See, my brain is I have multiple the other thing is, for me now, it's like multiple thoughts come at the same time. So I have to zone in on where I want to focus in on first, and then I gotta put them in order and say, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, and then this. That's what happens when you can control your mind, and when you get on a higher level, multiple things come to your mind at it's the exact fucking time, and you got to learn how to control it and choose what you want to do. So the TV, it scrambles of your mind, and that's why you can be sitting down somewhere and then focusing on one thing that's important, and then something about Beyonce just comes into your fucking mind. Something about Kanye just comes into your fucking mind. You can be sitting down trying to read, and then something about LeBron just dunking. It comes into your mind. It's random, because that TV puts images into your fucking mind. And once you learn how your mind works, you start realizing, like, yo, I need to stop watching TV. But once you get on a high psychological level, you can be able to control this shit, and you can block shit out. But anyways, now going back to listening skills. Your listening skills, you have to focus your mind on the individual and what they're saying and their tones of voices, because the tones of voices is what identifies a lot about what the person is really saying, and also what they're not saying. You gotta keep the key on that. So I tone in, and there's so much information within a person's tone of voice, and I've learned that throughout my intuition training, and I've learned a lot. There's a lot in that person's tone. It's a frequency. And once you zone in on that frequency, it's information within that frequency about that individual. I told you, this is some advanced stuff. It goes really deep, but I'm keeping on a basic level. So that's that. So you focus your mind on the individuals and what they're saying. That's why until you get on a higher advanced level, stop trying to multitask. I had to learn how to listen first by just focusing on them one-on-one, whether it be on the phone or in person or wherever, just focusing on them. Once I got that down pat, then I gradually try to do things to multitask and still be able to listen to them. Now I can do it. Now I can do it. However, depending on the individual and the depth of the conversation, if I really feel that it's highly important for me to listen, then I'll stop everything else and then I'll just zone my mind in and focus, and then I'll filter it throughout my mind, and then I just remember it. And you got to work on your memory too. You really have to work on your memory. When it comes to having great communication skills, it's important to have a good memory. That's another part of psychological development training. You have to improve your memory, because once people see that you listen and that you have a great memory, they'd be like, yeah, I like talking to him or her or them. They really, really appreciate that, because they know that the average person has a very average or below average communication skills. So communication includes speaking, articulating yourself adequately or higher, so that you can express whatever it is that you want to express to another individual. And also communication includes listening, being able to listen very well, and being quick to listen and slow to speak, as the Bible mentions. That's something that you have to learn. You have to learn if you want to be great within social engagements, and that is part of social behavior. So that's that. Let me see here. So overall, is the bottom line is most people, they lack social behavior training. And that's one thing that I don't really feel public schools, at least grade school, middle school, and high schools teach. I don't remember even going through social behavior training during school. And even in English class, they teach you how to write, and they teach you certain words, but they don't really teach you social engagement training. You might be able to take that in college, or some kind of course of some sort that's off of the college or university type thing. You know what I mean? It's just like a trade or something like that, like a small class that you can pay for. But I don't really think that people have done that. I mean, that's available. If it is, it's not readily available for most people to really see. So me, I had to learn this on my own, with my spirit speaking to me, like, look, you got to do this, this, and this. And now that I know how to program my mind, I've installed what I call the social genius software into my mind. So I'm increasing my social genius level to a very, very high level. That's why I said that there's a lot of advanced stuff when it comes to social behavior, communication. There's advanced stuff. So this is just the basics. Maybe I'll figure out how to explain to you guys about intermediate level of this social genius, the social engagement, social behavior things, and then I'll go into more advanced stuff. But that tone of voice, that frequency stuff that I was talking about, that's advanced, and I really shouldn't have included that in here, but that's just a touch of the advanced stuff. That's when you go into the spiritual slash psyche type stuff, where you can zone in with your ears. Your ears help you with the psychological part of you too, and then you just utilize your mind. You can decipher it, and then pay attention to the impressions, and then you just know, like, oh, okay, this person went through this in their life, so this is why they have this whiny tone when they're speaking. Another thing I'm going to tell y'all is a person's usual tone of voice, the way that they speak, the way that they sound when they speak, that identifies what psychological level they are in, and how they were raised. You can tell, if you really, really zone in and you're on that advanced level, you can tell what type of psychological issues they currently have, and how their childhood went. If you can't know it identically what it is, you'll at least be in the ballpark. And people be like, oh shit, this person, he can read me. He can read people really, really good. So I try to be very, very careful when I'm speaking to people about themselves, because a lot of people don't like you to read them. They really don't, especially when you give them that precise information where you on point. Some people be like, they get scared. They're like, are you psychic? Well, yes, I am. What did Professor X say in one of those X-Men movies? Um, Somebody was like, are you psychic? And he said some shit. He said something that I wanted to repeat if somebody asked me that. He was like, are you psychic? Well, yes, I am. Or he said something like that. I gotta figure that out too. If y'all know what he said in one of those videos, those movies, I think he said it in the first or second one. Write it in the comment section because I want to remember what he said. But anyways, I hope I explained that good so that you can really get the foundation of what social behavior is. If you need more explanation, then send me an email or a comment, and then I'll try my best to answer it there. Then if I feel it's necessary, then I'll just go ahead and do another video. But I might come back to this topic and do another more next level of social behavior. But until next time, thank you very much, and peace out.